Across protocol with the ACX token is rallying today. Let's have a look at the reasons for that rally. Let's check out the news, but let's also have a look at on-chain metrics. Let's see whether or not the bridging protocol sees continued adoption and if it still makes sense to buy the token now for a longer term investment. Now we're currently at $1.05 and we are up 73% today. And here are the news. Binance is listing the ACX token. In other words, the pool of potential investors is growing, and that of course helps the price. But the price didn't only increase today. We also went up 150% this week and 650% this year. Is this justified? And how much more upside potential is there? Let's have a look. Now here is what Across Protocol actually is. It's a way to move funds across blockchains. So if you've got a specific token and you want to move this to another blockchain, potentially even changing the token itself in the process, Across Protocol is the efficient way to do this. And so how much does the protocol get used? Here is the total value locked over time. It's currently at 250 million. It's at an all-time high. Now here's the thing with that metric. Of course, all of crypto is currently going up, and so the assets that ACX is holding also tend to appreciate in value. So automatically, just by the market itself appreciating, this number is appreciating as well. However, we can adjust for that appreciation. Have a look at the Across Protocol total value locked, not measured in US dollars, but measured in Ethereum. And while the trend isn't that clear, we are still relatively close to an all-time high. So there's definitely increased usage. Now here's a detailed breakup of that total value locked. It's of course in different tokens. We've got Balancer, we've got wrapped Bitcoin, we've got USDC and USDT, we've got wrapped Ethereum, and that's the point, we've also got the ACX token. Now this is a native token, so it's not really honest to add this to the total value locked. It's a bit like the situation with FTX, right? When the centralized exchange FTX collapsed, they had all their capital in the FTT token, but there wasn't really real capital, right? Because once there's more risk, then of course that token goes down as well. So we can remove ACX from that consideration, but still, even if we do that, we see that over the long term, the total value locked tends to be increasing. Now let's have a look at the trading volume. Let's see if this all happens on-chain or if you have potential manipulation by market makers through the centralized exchanges. Now here's the trading volume in the last 24 hours on the spot market. And unfortunately, the decentralized exchanges are not leading. At number one is Gate.io with 46% of all of trading volume. So there's a good chance that Gate.io owns a lot of the token and influences the price. There's also the perpetual futures market that is dominated by Binance. So clearly not all price discovery happens on chain. Now here's a chart I very much like to look at, and that's the relative performance to Bitcoin. When we buy an altcoin, right, an altcoin is inherently more risky than Bitcoin. When we buy such an asset, we want to get more return than the safest of the cryptocurrencies, right? When we take on more risk, we should get more return. Thus, the relative valuation to Bitcoin, I think, is more important than just the US dollar valuations. And what we see over here is that ACX long-term outperformed Bitcoin. And this is not necessarily something we see very often. Most altcoins underperform Bitcoin most of the time. But over here, we've got more than 2 years of data where ACX did better than Bitcoin most of the time. Now, why did it do better? I believe, again, it's because of the usage. So have a look at this. This is the bridged volume per day, and this tends to rise quite nicely. Of course, there is volatility, but still, we are close to all-time highs. Or have a look at this. On the left side, the transfer count, and on the right side, the bridging fees that are generated through the protocol. Also quite nicely appreciating over time. Or check this out. On the left side, the number of bridge users, right? When you move your funds from one chain to the next, how many such wallets actually did that with Across Protocol? It tends to rise over time. And we can also see how the slippage is decreasing over time. In other words, the protocol gets more efficient. If you're swapping from one token to the next while you are bridging, this is what Across can do. You tend to get better prices now. At launch, you had to pay up to 15% in slippage. Now that's down to 0.07, 0.09%. Now things are hyper bullish right now, right? Bitcoin continues to make one high after the next, and pretty much every altcoin is appreciating right now. It almost feels like because there's so much correlation within crypto that it doesn't really matter what we buy. What we see over here is the others dominance. So how much of all of crypto is in the altcoins that's not in the top 10 in terms of market cap. And that's growing very nicely, very steadily in the last days. And I see this in the statistics of this crypto channel as well. Nobody was interested in crypto just a few weeks ago, and suddenly we're spiking up in terms of attention again. And so yes, it's true that everything tends to go up, but there are still ways to outperform. So for example, over here, this is the meme coin market, and in the last 7 days, AI16Z more than doubled. Yes, Bitcoin went up as well, but it definitely did not double. Now it's at a price of 43 cents. But the question is, how can we get into a token like AI16Z before it doubles? How can we find out about tokens like this early? And what I personally like to do is I like to follow other influencers. I like to follow insiders. I like to follow people that tend to move the markets, especially for those very small tokens. So have a look at this. Kyle Chessy bought AI16Z on the Jupiter exchange on Solana for 1.8 cents. And he didn't just buy once, he bought several times. Since then, the price went up by more than 2,000%. Now, who is Kyle Chessy? He's an influencer that tends to buy tokens very early, where of course not every single token makes these kinds of returns, but it's a bit like VC investing, right? You make 10 bets, you hope for 2 of those bets to make returns like this, and you're okay when the other 8 out of those 10 bets don't work out as well. So here we go, here is his channel. He's got 138,000 subscribers, and we track 12 of his wallets. So this is how wallet tracking works, right? You use on-chain analytics to find out who owns what wallet. And once you've got the wallet, you put this in a tracker. And then whenever this wallet makes a transaction, whenever this wallet buys or sells, we get an automatic notification. We are not just tracking Kyle Chessy, we also track Crypto Banter, for example. They've got 1.1 million subscribers. When they talk about a token, especially a small cap token, that token definitely goes up because there's a lot of attention on the token, right? Attention equals purchases, purchases equal a higher price. We've got 33 of Crypto Banter's wallets. And we're also tracking, for example, Alex Becker. He's got 1.5 million subscribers. We've got 12 of his wallets. And so really, I believe this is the way to beat the crypto market. It's to know more than most. It's not just to pick random tokens in a list, hope that they will make a 2-3x in this bull run. It's actually to be early. It's so early that most people don't know about this yet. I believe in this strategy so much that I made 8 dedicated tutorial videos just on wallet tracking. So how can we find influencer wallets? How can we track them? And how can we then also interpret the signals that we get from the tracking? It's all part of the premium membership of this channel. The link is down below, thebitcoinstrategy.com. Premium is not just about wallet tracking. It's also about backtesting. It's also about macro indicators. It's also about risk mitigation, portfolio diversification, etc. There's more than 100 tutorial videos in total in premium. And so yeah, people are very happy. Feel free to stop this video over here and read this feedback. The most important thing is, of course, once we have those kind of signals, that we also get some feedback from the rest of the community, right? That we discuss when should we buy, when should we sell, what are the current on-chain analytics. That's why I've got dedicated chats on the individual altcoins as well. So feel free to check it out. Feel free to invest some of the gains to make the portfolio grow even faster. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee. So in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first week and I will refund you 100%. You really have 0 risk. Now, the fundamental question with any crypto investment is always how much more upside potential is there? Because obviously crypto is super risky. We can easily lose temporarily 20, 30, 40%. Can we get potential multiple X returns with ACX? How does the market cap compare to other bridge providers? The answer is in this table here. What we've got over here are bridge governance tokens, and ACX has a market cap of 460 million. Now there's a 2x to Axelar, and there's roughly a 5x to ThoughtChain Rune. So if the market as a whole stays stable, does not expand, but across protocol continues to see more adoption, the ceiling would be at around $5. Of course, it could grow beyond ThoughtChain Rune, but the air will get thinner at that point. If you got some value out of this video, feel free to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you in the next video, or see you in premium. Cheers!